Hey, scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a 9 by 12 plus pocket page spread of Karsten and I and my father, Karsten, me, and my dad in Houston. I wanted to work with that PinkFreshStudio paper on the left there, so I kind of pulled out things in advance to match the PinkFresh stuff. And so I just pulled out some scraps from my paper. This is going to be a stash busting layout. Plus I have some cards there on the right hand side that are Ali Edwards. I pulled out a few stamp colors. I don't know which one I'm going to use yet, but they all match. And I'm also going to pull out my Memento black ink. I believe that's the one I end up going with, although my stamping doesn't quite feature the way I was planning. So then I also pulled in some, here are some stamps from Ali Edwards, and I pulled in some PinkFreshStudio embellishments. A lot of PinkFreshStudio's lines kind of coordinate with each other, so I do have some from their travel line, but I also have some from, I think that was a case of the Blahs, and then some other things in there that coordinate. And then these are embellishments from my heart line for Simple Stories. I pulled out this washi tape because I thought it might work. And then I also pulled out all of the bits and pieces and chipboard, and I'm going to kind of use those as the embellishments that I use for this layout. So I also want to sort of keep this layout simple, and I'm not really wanting to get too crazy with it. This is one of a few different layouts from this trip, and they've kind of been uninspiring to me. I've been working through my more uninspiring photos lately, so I just kind of want to get it done, and I'm going to be really simplistic about my layout, and that is going to be totally fine with me. Some layouts lend themselves to more technique and fun, and some layouts just lend themselves to more simplicity, and this one is more simple for me. So I'm just matting these photos, and I really wanted to use both photos, but I end up just using this one of Karsten and me and my dad. It fits more with the theme of where I was going with this layout anyway, because the layout is about my dad being in Houston, traveling to Houston for Karsten's robotics competition with us. So just keeping the focus on him. I tore two corners off of this paper. This is photo play, that's what it is. Photo play paper, just some scrap paper I had left over from one of their boy lines, and then that blue paper is from Coco Daisy, and so is that vellum orange paper, and I wanted to pull in a little bit of orange just because it was fun. Now I'm going to use these stamps, and I'm going to make a little title, and I end up changing this down the line, so bummer, but it didn't quite work with where I was going. So it says celebrating time with you. I'm just going to cut it out and notch it into a little banner, and I'm going to put it underneath the photo, but it's going to end up getting moved because I changed my mind. I was feeling like it was a little bit blank and empty in that blue space, and since I didn't need to add any more journaling, I ended up adding a really big title there instead, and so then it was not working well with that tag. So now I'm going to start pulling out my embellishments and finding things to use. I want to bring in some more red to the right hand side there, so that's kind of where my focus is at the moment. Plus I have this stuff that I pulled out that's travel themed because we are traveling to California in October, so I'm kind of pulling out anything that's travel themed out of my stash as I come across it, so I pulled that out. Then I'm going to use this little green chipboard from a case of the Blahs. Then of course I'm going to pull out all of this travel stuff because we were traveling. So I'm just trying to find places to put things. I like this "you are here." I end up changing that little yellow half circle out. Didn't quite work with what I wanted. So I'm just committing and putting things down right away because, again, I'm trying to keep it simple. So part of simplicity for me is not hemming and hawing over where I want to put things or what I want to use. You can see that even though, yeah, I am keeping it simple, it still has so much color and pattern going on and lots of little details that it doesn't feel like just a big blank spread for me. I wanted to add some stars to this card, but I didn't have two of the same color in the right size, except for this teal color that did not work with the tag that I chose, so I just ended up not putting anything there. Just leaving it as it is. Ugh, and I really wanted to work this washi tape in too, and I put it down, and I just don't love the way it interacts with this page, which is a bummer. So I put it down and I pull it back up. Nope, it's just not working for me. Oh well, I'll use it on something else. Nope, it's not going to work there either. I think it was just too much pattern going on in the background, and it was just adding way too much to it. So I'm going to use these big chipboard love title, and I've gone through all of the heart embellishments and pulled out anything I might use. So now that I've got that big love title, you can see that the celebrating time with you in between the title and the photo is just not working out very well. So I'm contemplating what I want to do and still adding embellishments everywhere. Really wanted to work that ampersand in, but that didn't work out so well. And I have all these little hearts here, so I'm going to end up sprinkling hearts everywhere instead of the stars that I pulled out. So I'm going to end up pulling this off, and I'm going to cut off this celebrating, and I'm going to make it say love time with you instead. And these chipboard, I have to glue them down because what you can't really see very well here is I'm actually building this on the back of another layout, and down in that bottom right corner on this side is a piece of flare on the other side, and it's really making it so that that chipboard is not going to stick. So I'm going to have to get some liquid glue or some kind of glue and stick it down. So I want to make sure that there's gold foil reflected in a couple places here so that it doesn't look out of place on those letters. So I'm going to use all three of these gold foil hearts and put them around the photo so that it brings that gold foil through. And I'm going to stick these down, making sure it spans all the way underneath the photo. There we go. So now it's coming together, and I'm feeling like we're getting close to done here. Again, I don't need journaling on that left-hand page because I've got so much here. So I'm just going to add in the rest of my embellishments, glue them down, see if there's anything else I want to add, but I don't add too much. I'm going to create some layers on that middle photo with the name badge on it. It was pretty funny. They had added Reed to my dad's name, and obviously Reed is my married name, so he became Steve Reed Branson, which is hilarious for him. So I sent him a picture of his name badge, and it was amusing. Welcome to the family, Dad. So I'm going to replace this. I like that treasured better. I'm going to find some word strips because that bottom right corner is feeling a little bit bare. I'm going to drag that diagonal line down the page. There we go. Anything else on here that I want to add? I don't think so. Not on this side at least. So now I want to add something to that middle photo because it's not a great photo. It's kind of ugly. And So I'm going to cover up some of it. And I add Mr. Reed Branson, and I didn't make it fit. So now I'm like, ugh, what do I do here? So I add it to another label, and it didn't make it fit. So then I write it a lot smaller, and now I made it fit. So I'm going to trim that label, and I'm going to cover up where I wrote it here. And then it looks kind of odd, so I'm going to add a little bit more to it so that it looks nice and layered, labelish, like I did it on purpose. And that is about it for this video. I think that's all I add. If you enjoyed the layout, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. And if you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. My handle is @TracyMReed, and I would love to be besties over there too. All right, thank you.